Let's talk about Delhi as a traveller, shall we? So many foreigners fly into Delhi when they arrive in India because it has such a central location. But often a lot of travellers leave Delhi with a bad impression because it is a very big and chaotic city, and there are scams that you need to be aware of. This is my third time to Delhi, and I've actually spent the last 5 days here trying to see as much of the city as possible, and most of all just enjoy it. So this video features what I've been doing over the last few days, but more importantly my tips on how to enjoy Delhi as a foreigner. So I am here at India Gate. I walked all the way down here. There's like a path that walks all the way straight through. I think it's like the Parliament building all the way down here, which is really nice to walk down. Obviously quite a few tuk-tuk drivers asking if you want a lift. Just say no. There's a lot of guys trying to do photos and I guess sell tours, which is fair enough. But I am okay on my own, so I'm gonna get some photos and then probably move on pretty quickly. I like all this like greenery around the bottom. Nice little touch. Okay, India Gate is done. A little bit of like hassle, just people, like I said, trying to take photos, then wanting selfies of you. I have a video on how to deal with selfies in India if you want to watch that. I just say no most of the time. I said no then. But it's a tourist place, so obviously people are going to be working around there, selling you things like they are everywhere in the world. But you really don't need to spend that long around there. Just while I'm on my way to the Khan market, I thought I would mention that from like my experience in Delhi this time and also last time, although it is very loud when you're walking, there's a lot of traffic and it can be hot, I found a lot of the roads in Delhi, especially in the central area around India Gate, around Connaught Place, they're really nice kind of like tree-lined avenues. So like right now it is quite shaded in places, and there are traffic lights and there's zebra crossings, so and people do stop, or you can just zip across the road when it's clear. Yeah, so in this central part of Delhi it is quite nice and quite easy to walk around, so keep that in mind. I just jumped on the metro and now I am in Connaught Place, which is kind of the centre of New Delhi. My biggest tip if you are coming around Delhi by yourself, which you should, is to use the Delhi metro because it is so good. It is so easy to use. There's only a few lines and they're all colour coded. There are signs all in the station in English. When you're on the trains, they say the name in English as well. Plus, if you ever need help, you can just ask people and they will help you. The other thing is, and this is like the godsend, is that it is air conditioned. It is super cool down there, even just on the platforms. So it's just a really easy and cheap way to get around. You can either go to the counters and buy single tickets, but obviously if you're going to be there in rush hour you might have to queue. So what I've done is just get this Delhi Metro card. It's called One Delhi, One Ride. It cost 150 rupees to buy, but that came with 100 rupees credits. Going to use it kind of more than once. I would just recommend getting a card, and then yeah, it's just like an Oyster card in London or any of the other cities that you go to around the world. So definitely use the metro. Don't be scared. Okay, so another thing that I've just encountered by walking around on my own is, I hate to say that you shouldn't trust anyone because that's not very nice, but when people are coming up to you and talking to you, you really need to just be cautious about who you are listening to and who you are trusting, because I think a lot of people, this is the problem with Delhi, I think, actually, as a tourist here, is that a lot of them, well, it's all men really, I think women are pretty much fine, I think. The men are all in on different kind of things, so if they point you in one direction, they get commission for it. It's very popular around New Delhi station for people to tell you to go to these tourist offices. I've just had 2 random men that tell me like they work rounds there in like an office building, telling me to go to the tourist office, and then it just made me click like, maybe they're all in on this thing. Definitely like engage in conversation with people. That's part of coming to India. People are very friendly, want to chat, but you do have to kind of just know when to cut it off, either because it's getting too much, or they're going to try lead you into some kind of scam. So definitely watch that. And also look out for these subways under the roads to help you cross rather than going through the traffic. So one of my biggest tips to help you enjoy Delhi as a tourist is to make sure you stay in the right area. For example, both times I have been to Delhi in the past, I stayed in what's known as like the backpacker tourist area near New Delhi station, and when you're looking on the likes of booking.com, it's easy to want to stay around there because there is a large concentration of accommodation there because it's the tourist area. However, that area, it's very, very busy, and it's just not a very nice area, to be honest. So on this return trip to Delhi, I knew I wanted to stay in a much more central location, or at least somewhere that was a little bit quieter. And I'm actually staying in Janpath, and I'm staying at one of the Bloom Rooms hotels. I stayed in one of their hotels in Bangalore earlier this year, which I really, really enjoyed. And so I was very, very keen to see more of their hotels here in India and in Delhi. So I am working with them on a press stay on this, but I have truly, truly enjoyed my few days here, and it's just really helped being very central. I'm very close to Connaught Place, Janpath Market, loads of places to eat, and it's just a cool area. We've got some really nice hotels nearby, like the Shangri-La, so you know it's kind of like a safe area. And yeah, honestly, I think this kind of fact alone of where you stay in Delhi completely changes whether you like Delhi as a tourist or you don't. Definitely recommend Bloom's Rooms. They actually have 3 hotels around the city, but yeah, I definitely recommend this area and just doing some research into your area. And then as a female in Delhi, you do really want to be covered up, so I always wear like 3/4 length pants or long pants, never ever ever shorts. Earlier on I did have my shoulders out with a shawl, but actually I do feel a lot more comfortable in a t-shirt in Delhi, a little bit more covered up. It's probably not going to change the amount of looks and stares and comments you get, but I really do think it helps just a little bit. So one of the best ways to see Delhi, I think, in terms of trying to let the city not be too overwhelming, is to do some tours. So I've done 2 tours since I've been here. I went on a street food tour with reality tours. I've got a whole video dedicated to that, so I'll link that up here. And then I've just finished a free walking tour with Yo Tours. So it's free, but you do have to tip. I tipped about 500 rupees. And we've just been around Old Delhi and finished at the mosque, which is India's largest mosque, and yeah, both of these tours have been centered around Old Delhi, which is just so good because honestly these inner streets off of the main road of Chandni Chowk, you do not want to navigate on your own because they are just so crazy and people are shouting at you and it's beeping and everything. So to have a guide to follow is so useful. So if there's one tip that you get from this video, to be honest, it is just to make use of the tours here in Delhi. I'm in Chandi Chowk, which is in Old Delhi, and Old Delhi is famous for its markets and its food, so it's the perfect place to start this street food tour. Driving through the crowds, you can hear all the noise, the noise outside. Driving through Old Delhi right now, what time is it? It's like 7 o'clock. It was intense, it was crazy, but it was fine because you're in the rickshaw, so it was like really fun just to see everything, but very overwhelming. So I'm very, very glad that I haven't had to take the reins and I'm just following where to go. So yeah, this has been such a good tour. So I hope you have found those Delhi tips useful and they help you have a really good trip here. Delhi is such a cool city, but it just does take seeing it in the right way to enjoy it as a traveller.